Guys, welcome. So we're going to get started now. Just so everybody knows, we are recording this session. And mainly it is because we want to have a recording for people that maybe couldn't join us today. And we're going to be posting this and sharing in case that you also want to rewatch the meeting. So once again, welcome to the Institute for Advanced Architecture of Catalonia. My name is Violeta Rivera. I am the IAAC admissions manager. Thank you for joining us for our open day. We'll start our presentation with an introduction to the Institute, our work and our programs, and afterwards our program directors and coordinators will take the center stage and they will present their programs. Finally, we're going to have a session for breakout rooms where each program is going to have their individual breakout room and you can join the program breakout room and you can ask your questions and get to talk and meet the coordinators and the directors of the program. So if we're ready, we're gonna go ahead and get started. All right. So once again, thank you for joining us and welcome to the Institute for Advanced Architecture of Catalonia. IAAC, it's an education, research, and development center that inspires, envisions, and prototypes the future through innovation from Barcelona. So we are located in the beautiful city of Barcelona in Spain, and our mission is to prototype the future. IAAC is devoted to inspire architects of change to envision, prototype, and impact the future. For the past 20 years, we have evolved into an institute devoted to following the digital revolution at all scales. And we use speculation in order to imagine what the future might look like and how we can use that information to design and create change today. At IAAC, we use a multi-scalar and multidisciplinary approach to the current challenges of our built environment. We work with a methodology of learning by doing. We also work with advanced technology, which is part of our DNA and part of our name. So digital fabrication and computational design are very important to us. We work with regenerative approaches and technologies. We're also responsive to the current challenges that our built environment is facing in order to design change. And we are very much rooted into a maker culture. So that means that, our approach to learning, it's basically what I mentioned before, which is learning by doing. We are located in the beautiful city of Barcelona, which is a very special place for the discipline of design, architecture, arts. Barcelona is the birthplace of the term urbanism, which was coined by Ildefons Cerdà in 1867 when he was designing the Eixample neighborhood, which was the opening up of the city. In 2014, Barcelona was named the capital of European Capital of Innovation. In 2022, we were named the European Forest City. And very shortly, in 2026, we are going to become the World Capital of Architecture. So it will be lovely if you could join us during that special year for Barcelona if you're studying design and architecture. Within Barcelona, IAAC is located in the 22@ Innovation District, which is a strategic space within the city that has a high concentration of knowledge-based activities. And this used to be the industrial heart of the city, but we're moving away from an industry of production to an industry of innovation. So IAAC is very well connected to the city and the environment that we're in. The courses that we teach have also roots within the Barcelona community and also the knowledge and innovation that it's coming out of the city. So now I'm going to move forward to speak about the IAAC facilities, give you kind of like an understanding of where we are located and what we have to offer. So we start with our main campus, which is the Pujades campus. It's over 2,000 square meters of space for research, fabrication, and a factory of ideas where we have our main fabrication space, which includes digital fabrication technologies such as robotic arms, CNC milling machines, laser cutters, a plethora of 3D printers and other technologies for VR and augmented reality technologies for our students. Sorry for the lag. Next, we have our IAAC Atelier. The IAAC Atelier, it's over 1,000 square meters of open space that is mainly dedicated to our students. And it offers a space for our students to build and work together. Organizing their prototypes, taking classes. So it's a multi-use space. Last but not least, we have our Valdaura campus, which is 140 hectares of forest located in the Collserola Natural Park, right outside of Barcelona. In the Collserola, in the Valdaura campus, we prototype self-sufficiency, looking at integrating the fields of energy, information, and fabrication. Since you guys are not here to see it, I'm going to share a quick video that gives an overview of the beautiful Valdaura campus. Okay, that was a short overview. Just for you guys to tease a little bit out of this beautiful campus that we have up in the mountains. So moving forward, I also wanted to let you guys know that IAAC is a close partner with the Fab Lab. We are part of the Global Fab Lab Network, which is over 1,700 Fab Labs around the globe. The Fab Lab mission is to give access, tools, and knowledge to people, in the community in order to make almost anything. So being part of this networks allows us to apply our multi-scalar and multidisciplinary approaches in design and also work with distributed design within a very multicultural and varied network. Now moving forward to the engagement that IAAC has globally and also within Barcelona. We are a globally connected institution. We collaborate with very high-ranking international education research and innovation centers, including the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, the University of Jeddah, which is our accrediting institution, the European Commission, and many, many more. We also engage by participating or hosting different international events. Here is the list of just a few of the ones that we have participated in the past and will continue to participate, in the future. Those include the Venice Biennale, the Responsive City Symposium, the Smart City Expo here in Barcelona, Barcelona, where our students from the second year programs participate as well. And in these events is where we present and we discuss our development together with those across the globe working in the architecture and design industries. So something very interesting that we want to share with you about IAAC as well is that, on top of being an educational institute, we are a research and development center. And this basically means that we work in the research and development for different technologies and implementations. We manage over 30 EU projects at the moment, and these range from different programs, but also different topics such as advanced urban planning, digital innovation, smart architecture, city and technology, and many, many more. So I'll give you a couple of examples of the different programs and research and development projects that we're working on. So we start from city models, such as the Fab City, which looks at how cities can become locally productive but globally connected in order to reduce waste and carbon. But we also work with circular or nature-based solutions, which is understanding how nature and environment and the environment that we live in can provide multiple ecosystems and services for the well-being of all of those who inhabit those spaces. So one of those examples is the Flora project, which was developed by MAEBB students. In addition to this line of work, we also explore new approaches related to 3D printing architecture with natural materials, as well as making our own machines that do rapid prototyping, so machines that make stuff. So the examples that are here are, the Tova House, which was developed by the 3DPA postgraduate degree. And it's the first housing prototype with natural materials in Spain. Another line of research that we have here at IAAC is data and design, where we foster the analysis, visualization of available data sets in order to enable designers and city designers to use nature and to use this data to make better decisions in order to plan cities. And we also work in the line of inclusive and participatory cities, which basically enable citizens to participate within the design processes and working, in solutions on how neighborhoods can become more sustainable, or how are we going to provide food for the planet for the coming years. And finally, we work with digital fashion and textiles, which basically means that these are interactive environments and basically the architecture that the body wears. And we also work within the realm of interactive installations. So the picture that you see to the right, it's the installation from last year in the Yum Festival. It was called Cremada, and this festival is basically a showcasing of installations with light and light architecture. So this are some of the research lines that we have in IAAC. Now we'll talk a little bit about the IAAC community. As you were able to see before we were starting this presentation, we are coming from many different countries around the world. We have a very multicultural and diverse group of students coming from more than 45 different countries around the world. And they come together with us, the IAAC staff, which we are also an international group of people coming from many different disciplinary backgrounds and many different countries who are highly motivated to shape a positive future for our planet. The IAAC Global Alumni Network spans across the globe and connects people who have come through our institute and are actively working towards a more sustainable future. So once you become part of the IAAC family, you will become a part of a very multicultural student body, but also once you leave IAAC, we have a very strong international alumni community. So that was kind of like an overview of what IAAC is about and the different lines that we have. Now we're going to talk a little bit more about applications and admissions within IAAC, and then we'll move forward to go in depth into our programs. So quick, general eligibility requirements. The minimum level of studies is a bachelor's degrees in fields related to architecture, design, engineering, urbanism, or computer science. There's an asterisk because I always encourage potential students to review the eligibility requirements specific to some programs, because we also welcome students in some programs that come from different ranges of studies. So we gather and we foster our programs by diversity. This is just a sample of the programs that we accept. And another important thing for you guys to know is that all of the IAAC programs are taught in English. Therefore, spoken and written proficiency is required. We don't request a TOEFL or a Cambridge test for you to show that you have this capacity, but we expect all of our students to be able to communicate in English because that is the main language that we speak here in IAAC. I think it's also important that you know some overview of the application documentation that we have. You can apply to IAAC through our applications portal, which is located in our website, iac.net. So just a quick overview of the things that you need to apply to our programs, some of our programs. Again, here, I think you should check the specific requirements for the programs that you are interested in, but basically it is a letter of motivation, a portfolio or a sample of your work, CV or resume, 2 letters of recommendation, a copy of your passport, and a copy of your bachelor's diploma. The Academanies, which are our Fab Academy and Fab Academy, might have different application requirements. So again, here, please check the webpage of the program that you're interested in, but this is just like a general overview. And then lastly, about admissions and applications, just wanted to let you know a little bit about our important dates that you should have in mind if you're planning to apply to IAAC. IAAC works on a rolling application system. So this basically means that we are accepting students on a rolling basis. Our applications program or cycle opened in early November, and we have already started receiving applications and offering places to some students in IAAC. So definitely prospective students are encouraged to apply as early as possible. Within this application cycle, we have periods, and just keep in mind that the first application period is going to close on January 18th, but we have an earlier deadline than this, which is the applications for our postgraduate degree in digital fabrication, Fab Academy. This postgraduate closes on December 25th. That's the application deadline for that. So this will close kind of like the overview that we have for IAAC. Now we are going to move forward to the academic programs, and we're going to start with the Masters in Advanced Computation for Architecture and Design, which is directed by David Andres Leon and coordinated by Laura Ruggeri. It trains a new generation of architects in latest software and digital technologies required by the IAAC technology and the industry. So David is going to be presenting this program.
Hi, Violeta, thank you.
Hi, David. So let me stop the screen share and you can go ahead and share your screen.
Sure. Okay, now, quick check. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes, all good.
Great, thanks. Well, thanks, Violeta, for the very nice introduction to the universities. It's amazing to be here again to present the program one more time after 5 years. As Violeta mentioned, I'm the director of the program, along with the coordinator, Laura Ruggeri, who's here also with us. And after this very short introduction, that we're also going to be answering questions for, whatever thing that might not be clear or whatever that you want clarified from this presentation. So please join us afterwards in the breakout session as well. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the MACAD. I'm going to try to be as brief as possible, as usual. If you don't know, of course, it's a 100% online accredited program. Means it's a master's program that you can actually do from home. And it's, as Violeta mentioned, aimed to train a new generation of experts with the current skills that the AEC industry demands today, right? So there's a website in case you want to join. I just want to explain a little bit about how it works, both in terms of logistics and in terms of contents. We have for the 25-26 year, we'll be launching MACAD 1 and MACAD 2, a follow-up version of the program, which is an extension of the master's with 90 CTS. In MACAD 1, which is a one-year program from October to June, or June, July. You would be dealing with the main contents of the masters, which is the advanced computation for environmental and structural design, building information modeling and smart constructions, and artificial intelligence in architecture. Right after that, and optionally, if you choose so, you can also join MACAD as a full year and a half program, where for 90 CTS, you can additionally go through a applied research period where you can develop a thesis module or a thesis project in collaboration with an industry partner, therefore applying all of the knowledge that you have had in a real world scenario. So the way that MACAD works, in order to reach to everywhere in the world online, we set out two formats: one synchronous, in which you can attend all of the sessions live, and also join on our online campus platform, and one asynchronous mode, which allows you to watch the lectures imparted by our teachers and experts in a recorded fashion, and then get live feedback from the work that you develop. All of course, all integrated in the online campus platform that we have. Just to give you an idea, this is what the main week of an MACAD looks like. Every day there's some courses for the synchronous format, some courses for the asynchronous group. There's the class almost every day, and it involves either a lecture or just a live mentoring session if you're just in the async part. This is, of course, it's an online campus experience where we are fully prepared basically to support you online, remote, and have all of the tools necessary to give you an experience as close as possible as as being in a live presential masters, including, of course, building an amazing community of students and teachers, which is something that we're very proud about to have had done during this past 5 years. This community, inheriting from IAAC, also contains a wide diversity of nationalities and different backgrounds and technical skills, something that we're very proud, not only in MACAD, but in IAAC in general. But because we're able to reach so far, we really thrive on this diversity through these online means. Here's some of our faculties, renowned names, some of which I'm sure you would recognize if you're already in the computational scene. Of course, these are just a few among the rosters that we're very proud to have in the masters. And this is just some of the collaborations that we hold and continue to withhold during the program, that kind of show a little bit of a picture of how grounded and practically oriented the program is in terms of the utilization of these tools in the real world. Now, to tell you a little bit more in terms of the content and what you can expect to learn in the masters. MACAD is basically divided into 3 parts. One is basically the ACESD module, the first module, which deals mainly with parametrics. The second module, it basically deals with what we call BIM and smart construction, which is basically tackling different aspects of digital technologies in the practice. And finally, the AIA, or Architectural Intelligence for Architecture module, which deals with different applications of artificial intelligence in design. I'm going to expand a little bit on each module by module. This is the first module, the Advanced Computation for Environmental and Structural Design, hence SCESD for short, which runs from October to December. In this module, you would be learning, this would be the 3 main seminars that would impart the technical knowledge to develop the studio project afterwards. First, we have complex forming, which deals with starting with the very basics of parametrics to actually a very high level understanding of form finding and how to actually generate form in a meaningful way through parametrical tools. This is basically just a very nice picture of one of the final projects of the seminar, so that you can see somehow like the realistic but yet very technical approach that we have. We also have a structural optimization seminar to tackle optimization, structural optimization parameters, and also environmental analysis seminar that deals with everything that has to do with sustainability and all of the simulation tools that you can incorporate so that your project is somehow contextually sound and placed. All of this comes together in the module in Studio, which is something that happens in every module, where the students have an opportunity to exercise the technical knowledge that they get from the seminars in a real world project. In this case, for example, based in a specific location, inheriting and abstracting environmental parameters from such, and inquiring on different optimization techniques so to somehow improve the performance of the structures that are developed, in this case, the bridge in South Africa, for example. So this is just an example of what you can expect from the first module, maybe also a little bit of how all of the modules work in that sense. Coming to the BIM and Smart Construction module, which is the second module in MACAD, where we deal basically with digital technologies for architecture. This we unfold into 3 seminars, which we call integrative modeling, which deals mainly with interoperability in BIM and Revit, data management or cloud-based data management, which is basically how to bring your designs, how to interface design and cloud-based tools, and collaborative workflows, which explores different tools for intercollaboration in a highly complex project. Integrative modeling, as mentioned, here we touch upon tools such as Rhino Insight, which allows us to somehow bring the complexity of our parametric projects into a fully fledged BIM platform like Revit. Here the students have this challenge basically to deal with all the complexities of BIM and somehow touch upon the topics that are very well known into our day-to-day practice, and in tandem with of course the notion of exploration in complex forms. Cloud-based data management, which is of course that I teach, mainly based on the development of Rhino Compute, which allows you to put this parametric logic Rhino as a service in a server and run grasshopper definitions in web browsers as configurators, like you can see here. So our students, actually all of our students, end up developing a project like the ones that you see here, where all of them have a grasshopper definition running in the web. Collaborative workflows, where we enter in the paradigm of intercollaboration in our industry, which is a great challenge, and mainly through tools like Speckle and others, where students are forced to provide schemas to collaborate in different projects, all of which, of course, again, is exercised in a studio project in the end of the module, as you can see here, where students are, sorry?
Sorry, David. No, if you want to finish that slide, but we have to move forward with the presentation. Maybe in the breakout rooms, we can go over the last ones if you want to wrap up.
Sure. Let me just quickly show this. I'll wrap up with this module, and that's going to be it, just not to leave it half, right? The third module in artificial intelligence deals with design and architecture, where mainly we look into topics like generative AI, tools for design, data encoding, which is mainly the basics of machine learning and graph machine learning as a very promising topic for design. All of this incorporated in the studio project as well, and put into practice in our master thesis for those who are joining the MACAD 2 part of the program, was a practical extension of a thesis development project in an industry scenario. Well, as said, join us in the breakout room, please, afterwards, so that we can tell you more about all of these. Hope to see you there. Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Sure.
Okay, give me just 1 second. I'll share my screen again to introduce the next program. So you guys heard about the Masters in Advanced Computation for Architecture and Design. And let's see if the slide moves. Okay, perfect. So the next Masters that is going to be presenting is the Masters in Advanced Architecture, directed by IAAC Marco Polo and coordinated by Gabriele Giudevici. I cannot pronounce her last name correctly. Sorry, Gabriele. And Kevin Matar. This program is going to be presented by Areti Marco Polo. So Areti, if you want to take the stage. I will let you know once you are halfway with the timing, so you can keep track of that.
Thank you, Violeta. Thank you for the lovely introduction to IAAC. Thank you, David, for presenting the first program. And thank you, Violeta, for being timekeepers. This is important in this quick effort to give an overview of the programs. I'm really happy to present the Master in Advanced Architecture. It's myself, which I am an IAAC and an MAEA alumni, together, of course, with some more alumni. It couldn't have been different. Gabriele Giureviciute and Kevin Matar that are coordinating the Master in Advanced Architecture first year and second year. So we are basically leading the first Masters of IAAC. It is the 25th edition of the Master in Advanced Architecture, and the program has always been standing at the intersection of digital revolution and the environmental, economical, and social challenges that our world faces today. That is indeed opening a big need to create a new mindset into how architecture as a discipline could work, not only to just create beautiful and aesthetically pleasant buildings and public spaces, but more than anything, to create a positive impact into the built environment and be able to become a driver of change into part of the big challenges that we're facing today as a society and as a planet. The Masters combines design, architectural design, creative design with multidisciplinary science. So you will come here and you will not only learn about architecture, but you will also learn about biology, about digital manufacturing, about computer science, and you will start to understand how the combination of design and science could bring innovation and could bring new ideas that could be developed as new design manufacturing, but more than anything, in habitation models. And although the program is very much driven by technology, it's the Advanced Architecture program. However, technology is not the final means. The ultimate goal is to explore how digital technologies and learning from other disciplines, as I said, could create a positive impact and change the current business as usual models related to architecture and design. Now, the program offers a diversity of high-end content in design studios, ranging from urban to building and to material scale. And it has a very unique academic structure in the sense that students are able to create and customize their own agenda, selecting from 3 different research studios and a series of optional seminars so that they can actually create a curricula that is fit to their interest and to the goals that they have for their future career development. In terms of research design studios, we have 3 scales that we're working on. The first one is the Urban Design Studio that works on promoting urban and territorial design solutions in different contexts in the world. The self-sufficient buildings that is facing the challenge to create self-sufficient buildings energetically and how they can be more in sync with their environment. And the digital matter that is exploring novel material systems for the future of architecture, as well as new resources and circular design and construction. There is a series of optional seminars, as I said, from experimental structures to digital woodcraft, robotic fabrication, urban ecologies, and a series of seminars that students are choosing in order to create the customized agenda. And then for the ones that they are continuing with a second year, which is the thesis project, it's a very important year because after all the knowledge that you have actually gained, you are able to either work individually or pair with a colleague in order to create a thesis that could fit different challenges that IAAC is working on. Whereas these challenges are related to research projects of IAAC, with industrial collaborations, or with other projects that they are relevant. Of course, students are also welcome to present their own proposal, but it's a year where this is actually landing into some more real case study projects and collaborations. This happens within different thematics, from advanced manufacturing in architecture to clusters, thesis clusters that they are focusing on algorithmic design in architecture, biome architecture, biotic structures and nature-based solutions, the digital urban landscape that is actually trying to understand nature-based solutions in a territorial scale through digitization, interactive architecture from quantitative data to qualitative data, emotional analytics and immersive environments, materially responsive architecture, exploring new materials for the future of a decarbonizing architecture, timber architecture as one of the key materials for the future of construction, and of course, a series of experts and advisors from IAAC, but also from our industrial partners that they are continuously supporting your work during the thesis development. Of course, during the second year, there are parallel seminars to the thesis, and this helps different specific topics of thesis to get more developed in different aspects of computation, representation, communication. This becomes very, very important, but most importantly, you have the possibility to work hand in hand with renewed experts from different fields. And that multidisciplinary, let's say, exchange is something that we believe is key for producing innovative thinking and innovative ideas and solutions. A series of toolset that you will also find in more information in our website. And of course, our industrial partners that support us in the different program activities. These are some of, I always like to close with some alumni cases, because many of you are asking what's next, you know, what happens after the Master in Advanced Architecture. There are people that they have been launching their own startups. There have been alumni that have joined very big architectural offices to lead innovative departments or digital and computational design departments. Students that they have continued their academic career and research with a PhD, and a series of different outcomes of work in different scales. So if you are interested to actually use the discipline of architecture to make a change, there is no doubt that the Master in Advanced Architecture will give you not only the knowledge, but also the resources for connecting with different industrial partners and collaborators and experts that can help you to do so. We can discuss more in the breakout room, but we are really looking forward to talk more with all of you that you're interested in the program. Thank you.
Thank you, Areti. Perfect timing. Share my screen again. Perfect. So we're gonna move forward to, okay, there we go. We're gonna move forward to the next program, which is the Masters in Advanced Ecological Buildings and Biocities, MAEBB for short, which is directed by Vicente Gallard and Michael Salka and coordinated by Esin Zeynep. Esin is going to be doing the presentation for this program. So Esin, whenever you're ready, I'll stop sharing my screen and then you can start.
Sure, I'm ready. Okay.
Great.
You can see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Well, hi everyone. My name is Esin Aydemir, and it's a pleasure to be joining you today in my role as academic coordinator of the Master in Advanced Ecological Buildings and Biocities. Our program is directed by Vicente Gallard, one of the original founders of IAAC, and Michael Salka, who's a Gates Scholar, PhD in Architecture at University of Cambridge. Masters in Advanced Ecological Buildings and Biocities, or the MAEBB as we abbreviate it here at IAAC, is a uniquely immersive experience hosted at a facility of IAAC called Vidara Labs, which is devoted to the investigation of contemporary self-sufficiency. And the yellow star on this image marks the location of IAAC's main campus in the Polbanu district, while the red line shows the boundary of the Vidara estate within the Cultural Natural Park. Even though Vidara is near enough to the city center for students to attend lectures in Polbanu and enjoy the city, the immediate surroundings of the park's forest lend the lab a very distinctive character. And these images you see here gives you a sense of what life at Vidara is like. The majority of our students choose to live in Vidara full-time, as it's a truly once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to be in this community that comprises people from all over the world. We often have as many nationalities as there are students, also with different professional backgrounds, linguistic backgrounds, cultural backgrounds, etc. So there is an immense amount of learning that happens beyond the curriculum at Vidara, just from getting to know people, as well as engaging in activities like food production and gardening that supplement the curriculum. The MAEBB is broken into two main sections. There is a MAEBB 01, which is our 10-month immersive program that starts with the introduction to self-sufficiency, involving all of the facilities at the lab, including the gardens and our ecological areas, as well as the fabrication and design labs themselves. We then have a building design portion in which you will engage in a speculative design of a large-scale urban project in a studio format, and then the building construction, which is the capstone of our project over the summer, in which we design and build together one full-scale, totally self-sufficient prototypical building. And then there is also the MAEBB 02, a 6-month extension to the MAEBB, where you take all of these lessons learned through the collaborative work and focus on an independent thesis project with the support of a supervisor and IAAC staff. You'll be able to go deeper into a more dedicated topic during the second year. And MAEBB activities are headquartered in the Vidara Masia, a historic Catalan farmhouse from 1888, rooted in local tradition, yet renovated with cutting-edge amenities like a digital fabrication lab, almost exclusively available for the MAEBB students, as well as a carpentry workshop right below it. And together, these installations enable Vidara to reach past its walls and integrate the landscape within the experimental metabolisms of material, food, energy, and water production. Thus, the estate operates circular bioeconomic flows, maximizing every opportunity to repurpose resources typically disregarded as waste, which can be seen as a model for the same kind of systems we propose and implement for advanced ecological buildings and biocities. And each MAEBB cohort generally comprises between 15 to 25 students from nearly as many different countries, as I mentioned earlier. And they engage in every aspect of materializing a building, from working with experts to select which trees for wood should be removed to improve the health of the forest overall, beginning by learning from the ecology in collaboration with experts such as Gerard Pasola, you see in the image, who goes by Dr. Arbor, understanding exactly which materials we choose for building with and why, and how extracting them affects the forest for better or for worse. And always also about traceability, tracing all these decisions that we make so that, again, we can check the impact of our processes, and using digital tools to understand as much as possible about the organic growth processes and ecological successions that we are affecting by moving or removing materials around us, and pushing these beyond the state of the art, going with photogrammetry and LiDAR as well to understand the processes of growth and the geometries of these objects that we're collecting in the natural environment. We then contain the entire value chain of engineered timber production on our campus in Vidara, all the way from harvesting trees to processing them into lumber, drying them, and then laminating and pressing them to produce high-tech materials like cross-laminated timber panels or dowel laminated timber panels and such. And we create dynamic new tools to evaluate the environmental benefits and consequences of design decisions like embodied carbon. And this data empowers us to shape narratives through various media, from simple drawings and diagrams through to virtual and augmented reality as well. And we separate our curriculum into different subsystems, which, just to say, thermodynamic fabrications, ecosystemic structures, circular waste and water systems. So students get a very deep understanding of these different layers in a building, understanding how to apply passive techniques as well as the active circular techniques. Unlike most architecture students, MAEBB students are also educated in renewable energy systems as well as circular water systems and their informational management systems as well. And we're always looking for alternative foundation systems, avoiding the use of cement and concrete in construction, circular waste systems for human waste, as well as other organics, and insulation systems using natural materials, as well as surface treatments, avoiding chemical additives, such. And also understanding how to apply the right tools and technologies using the idea of appropriateness to understand that sometimes things can achieve by hand, but then sometimes we need to rely on computation or to achieve the kind of geometries or the complexity that are essential to our buildings. And also allowing computation to help us to optimize these processes. We're engaged in the full range of activities from design through fabrication. So optimizing the amount of effort involved is a very important choice. And now a few successful projects that I'm pleased to share with you all, recent MAEBB pieces include the new house from the inaugural year of 2018 to 19. And these projects, despite being relatively small and student-led, they have already gained worldwide reputations recognized by awards from organizations like Design That Educates Awards and the Voxel, a quarantine cabin designed and built in 2020. Or even popular media outlets with a reach much broader than the design field, like the New York Times. And the solar greenhouse, a facility we use for germinating seeds and producing leafy greens for our kitchen, which was designed and built in 2021. And our project was awarded by Monocle's Smartest Student Project, or other popular design media outlets like ArcDaily, Design, etc. And MOCA, the mobile cabin and catalyst, built in 2023 on a trailer. It was one of the main venues of the Manifesta Biennale this year. And our latest, most recent project, the KUKA House, a house for the KUKA robot, was completed just a couple months ago. And the modular prefabrication and rapid deployment techniques employed also mean the prototypes have value not only as singular objects, but more as proofs of concept for transfer to other locations and circumstances. We also engage with the city through technical installations, giving MAEBB students a chance to share their passion and talents with other communities, like school children or neighborhood associations through participatory co-creation. And speaking of co-creation, it's important to note Vidar Labs is highly connected by information exchange and collaboration with a global network of organizations and actors, pioneering the conversation about how we transition our buildings and cities toward the re-entanglement with the natural environment. Of course, some of these, I'm finishing. Of course, some of these leaders are directly embedded as faculty of the MAEBB. For instance, Stum Arquitectura, who were awarded the highest distinction by the city of Barcelona with their latest project. That's enough. Many thanks for your time and attention. I look forward to chatting with some of you soon in the breakout rooms. Otherwise, you can find more details at the links shown here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Esin, for the presentation. We're going to move forward to the next program. Danny already informed in the chat, but just for FYI, is the Masters in Artificial Intelligence for Architecture and the Built Environment. It is co-directed by Areti Marco Polo and Angelos Kronis and coordinated by Laura Fami. The presentation is going to be done by one of the co-directors, Angelos Kronis. So Angelos, please take the stage.
Thank you very much, Violeta. Hello to everyone. I'm gonna share my screen. All right, thank you very much. So let me know if you can see it, and then I'll continue. All good?
Yep. Yes.
All right, lovely. So hello everyone. I'm Angelos Kronis, and I'm here to present the Master in Artificial Intelligence for Architecture and the Built Environment. The second edition, it's the second year that Masters is going on for. It just started this year, so this is essentially a presentation for the second edition. It's a Masters that has been directed with me by myself and Areti Marcopoulou, and it's also done in collaboration with the IAAC Business School, which also offers a business training certificate for the masters. I think I have to not talk about artificial intelligence and the profound effect that it will have on anything we do, including architecture. This master's is trying to really look at this challenge with a positive view and try to prepare everyone, including ourselves, for what is coming for our industry and for our professions. And just in a nutshell, what we're trying to do is, first of all, understand the challenges that AI will bring to AEC, the architecture, engineering, and construction, prepare ourselves to be ready for the new industry, the industry will be changed by AI, to pioneer our careers, to change the way we think about design, about architecture, about urban environments, and to engage with leading industrial partners that are part of the masters that bring in expertise, knowledge, but also challenges in order to understand what is actually needed today. At the end of the day, what I always say is the most important thing that we have to understand, not just in relation to AI, but also generally as architects, to understand the value of our work and be able to essentially position ourselves properly for the future. Very quickly, a few things that we do on the masters and we're focusing on is we're trying to focus on real world applications that have impact, that are coming from, as I said, industrial challenges or other sort of challenges that are brought to us by our partners or research institutions and our organizations, so that we can actually use not only the time of the masters, but the future sort of like changes we will impact with our training to actually make a change in architecture and make it more sustainable, make our buildings and our cities more sustainable. It focuses a lot on interdisciplinarity. So essentially, as the collaboration with the other business school says, it brings in business components, it brings in sort of different vertical themes, which I'll talk about in a second. It brings in programming and programming and computational design, but also entrepreneurial aspects. So it's an interdisciplinary collaboration that is really important to mention. It's also practice oriented, and that is also reflected on the different sort of partners that I'll show in a minute that are part of the masters that essentially also offer opportunities for students to apply what they're learning during the masters in actual real world problems. So there are internship programs associated with the 2-year masters program that students can join and actually situate themselves for a couple of months for a few months in a real world scenario where they apply what they learned in the first year. The entrepreneurial mindset, I am a founder. I did study at IAAC, I did my PhD at IAAC, but I come from research in architecture and eventually ended up with a company, with a startup, which is what I'm doing right now. And we are definitely trying to bring this mindset, this sort of like founder entrepreneurial mindset into the masters by showing the possibility of someone coming out of architecture school, and actually creating an impactful business, a venture, a startup that can actually change the industry much more significantly than the skills they're gonna get. So in a nutshell, it's a very diverse, multidisciplinary and forward-looking curriculum, and we're trying to really revolutionize the architecture education as well as the future of architecture through AI. A little bit about the academic structure, keeping in mind at the time, we, as I said, focus on 3 vertical themes that we think are important to represent scale, but also sort of scope. Urban technology, anything that relates to analyzing, simulating the urban environment, mobility, energy, climate, infrastructure, everything on the urban scale and how it will change through new technologies and of course AI. Smart construction, how actual construction is changing, how we build, how we manufacture materials, automation, other sort of like components, information exchange that change essentially how we build. And then how do we bring nature and ecosystems? AI is not just useful for making really huge servers run on high power consumption. It's also useful to understand our relationship with nature, bring back nature in the cities, and really regenerate our cities. And there's the 3 horizontal objectives that we are focusing on the masters. So apart from the vertical themes, which is regenerative design, really making design decisions that regenerate our cities, bring back, as I said, nature and ecological restoration, and actually change our thinking, our systemic thinking about what a city means. Carbon neutrality, this is a clear target that everybody has. We have to reduce our carbon emissions. We have to reduce our impact, and this is hugely important in architecture because 40% of emissions are buildings and not cars. And finally, co-design process, because social cohesion and the ability to work together as architects to have a kind of like multidisciplinary, but also collaborative thinking process in how we design is hugely important, and bringing sort of like values like participatory design, open source, and collaborative sort of platforms are it's hugely important to change the mindset of architecture. It's a very packed program, has a lot of kind of like technical skills involved, like programming in AI, data-driven analysis, and I'm not going to go through it because it's very difficult to read here, but you can find all of this information in the booklet, and it also has a lot of like kind of like masterclass related content. All the industries are coming to the different sort of like studios and present the challenges, as I said, that we bring to these masters. So very quickly, what can you become if you come to do the MAAI? I mean, there's a lot of like AI integrated architecture today, so you can actually become one of these sort of like really cool AI architects. You can become a startup founder. You can also go further into research. Lots of students go into PhDs in AI and architecture, or even design technologists, focusing more on the technology side, or strategists. Like at the end of the day, it's not just about the application, it's also about how we strategize for the future. Here's a few people, that just a fraction of the people that are part of this masters, myself and RIT, we're directing it with Laura, coordinating it. Mara Balestrini, Jan Bunch, and Theodor as part of like our advisory team. There's a lot of other people we cannot fit in this presentation. These are leading figures in the industry, and I think we wanted to bring them here to just show you who you can interact with. Few things that we do. I mean, we're tool and software agnostic, but we definitely use Grasshopper, Rhino. We use Unity and GIS. But of course, we learn programming. We learn programming from scratch. You don't have to be a programmer. You don't have to know anything about programming before you come to the masters. You will learn everything here. We focus on different sort of like easy to program and straightforward sort of like frameworks like Collab, Google Collab, and others. And we also, of course, have an aspect of prototyping. There's digital fabrication, there's sensing, there's robotic fabrication, etc. These are some of the partners as well that are already associated with the masters. They're offering internships, they're offering master classes, they come to talk to our students, and our students go to their sort of offices and organizations to work. Close collaborations with Autodesk, AIT, Land. I mean, there's a lot more that we haven't managed to fit in here, and there's also active involvement in EU projects. And on that note, I'm going to finish with a video, if I have the time, very quickly.
We have.
I'm not sure if I think you cannot hear the sound, right?
No, you cannot, but we are also with the time, so maybe if you want to share it during the breakout room.
Okay, as you wish.
Great. Thank you so much for the overview. Angelos, let me share the screen. Okay. Is it not changing? Here we go. Okay. So just a quick introduction. Again, thank you so much, Angelos, for the wonderful presentation for the MaAI program. We are going to move over to our urbanism program, which is the Masters in City and Technology, co-directed by Matilde Marengo and Eduardo Rigo Carranza, and coordinated by Isabel Lima. The presentation for this program is going to be done by Matilde, who is the co-director and also the head of studies at IAAC.
Hello. Hi, everyone. I hope you are... Ooh, can you hear me? Yes? Okay. Hi, everyone. And very much enjoying the event, and thank you so much to all of my colleagues who have already made some really amazing presentations, and to those who come to see what's going on. So I am hoping that my screen will load very quickly. Can you confirm that you can? Yeah, Okay, great.
Yes.
So my name is Matilde Marengo, and I am one of the co-directors of the Master in City and Technology, which is a program that is oriented to redefining the future of what is urban through innovative, evidence-based, and experimental approaches that enable us to understand, design, and materialize the future of cities. As a kind of base nucleus to the program, both Eduardo and myself are directing the program. We have the wonderful Isabel Lima, who is coordinating the program, and we have Jacopo Neri, who is a program alumni and who is leading up the part of urban computation. As you've seen so far in most of our programs, the Master in City and Technology can be done in a 1 or 2 year format. We are starting the 10th edition of the program. This is a call for the 10th edition of the program. And the program is a full-time program taught in English, where the students learn creative and computational techniques in order to critically research and communicate the future of cities as well as designing it. So in order to be able to do this and create or understand the future of the urban, we work at the intersection of urban design and data science. We use basically these two realms as design drivers to enable meaningful change in the face of planetary challenges, among these, the climate crisis and planetary urbanization, and of course within the context, of advanced technological development. It enables our students and our alumni, our colleagues, to critically and creatively manage design in the face of uncertainty. Specifically, we work at the intersection of urban ecologies, urban computation, urban theory, and urban communities. And all of this is towards developing critical and data, working specifically in real contexts from Barcelona and its surroundings to developing countries across the globe. We work with real data, both remote and locally sourced, as well as sourced data sources, sorry about that, and real challenges, working towards spatial justice, ecological justice, mobility justice, as well as new productive model. All of this with the goal of designing and developing adaptive and more than human urban environments, resilient and circular cities, and innovative and equitable communities. As you've seen in most of our programs, we work a lot with the industry in order to be able to ground our research and our education in real world questions, real world scenarios. Specifically within the context of the Master in City and Technology, we are working in a series of different EU and locally funded projects, as well as collaborating with a series of companies and institutions that you can see here. We also are enabled through the learning and understanding of a series of tools and software. Some are common to other programs that you have in IAAC, and some are specific to the Master in City and Technology program. And all of this is to enable data-driven, dynamic, collective, multidisciplinary, and multi-scalar understanding and design of the urban environment. Fundamentally, the first year of the program is divided in 3 different sections, the first being that dedicated to urban reading, the second to urban empowerment, and the third to urban vulnerabilities. Within the first term, the students develop a project within the context of the Digital Cartographies studio led by Jacopo Neri and Laura Guimarães, and all of this to mapping urban complexity within the Anthropocene. In parallel to that, students will follow courses in Python for urban analytics, digital cultures, understanding digital technology, society, theories of the urban and emerging economies, understanding what is the projection of the future, and finally, co-creating public space and designing for more than humans. In the second term, the students delve into the concept of urban empowerment, looking at how we can develop iterative and participatory design processes, analyzing community inputs through a variation of pipelines oriented towards spatial justice. This is led by Eduardo Rico Carranza and Marcia Zert. And in parallel to this, the students will be developing digital tools for investigative methodologies, theories of the urban as well continues, apps for citizens, and serious games, looking at how we can engage citizens in design in different ways, transitional landscapes, looking at the territorial and planetary scales, and agent-based design and machine learning 1. In the third and final term of the first year, we concentrate on urban vulnerabilities. Specifically, the studio is led by myself, Isabel, and Onerata, and we look at computer-aided inclusion urban, embedding intersectionality into urban design through digital innovation. In parallel to that, the students will continue the digital tools for investigative methodologies and 5 theories of the urban, as well as looking into web maps for digital storytelling, innovative urban futures and future cities, and finally closing with agent-based design and machine learning too. So with this, we're looking at sourcing and collecting data, big data analytics, urban computation and simulation for design, looking into network flows and connected ecologies, and collaborative design, circular neighborhoods, and inclusive futures. In parallel, we have a series of activities that are related to understanding the sites. And just to sort of move on to the second year of the program, students work together with advisors from academia and partners from practice that enable their theses into real-world scenarios. These are some of the topics that we look into: tools for city making, data-empowered and just communities, climate-adaptive ecologies, and circular and resilient cities. And in parallel to that, the students have the possibility to access a series of seminars that are part of what we call our program synergies. So we have a collaborative platform across the second years of our programs in order to share certain parts of content, as well as following specific courses that are dedicated to supporting the students' thesis development. And just to close, some MACT recognition, student recognition, and impact here within the context of academic realm, looking at a series of papers and productions that have been presented, developed by our students and faculty and presented in different symposia, looking at the policy and innovation impact from winning open data contests to the integration of some of the work produced through the Master in City and Technology into the development plan of Victoria Gasteiz, and also the winning of the ICT award for gender equality with some projects. And finally, in the industry, we had several alumni presenting their work in the Smart City Expo this year, including one of the winning projects of the C40 Reinventing Cities competition, as well as the thesis of one of our ex-students. Our alumni, sorry. So the student profile that we're after is people who are interested in being urban thinkers, but also urban doers. So combining urban design and data science in order to be able to shape the future of the urban environment. And with that, I'd like to thank you for your attention and invite you to join us in the breakout room after this session, and also to follow us on Instagram if you would like to. Thanks very much.
Thank you so much, Matilde. Wonderful presentation. Yes, all of our programs have Instagram. So if you're active in Instagram, you can follow them as well. The next presentation is going to be about the Masters in Robotics and Advanced Construction, directed by Alexandre Dubourg and coordinated by Valeria Carrion. Alex, if you want to take the stage, please go ahead.
Thank you
I'll
very
stop
much.
sharing.
Let me see if I can share this easily. Do you see the screen well?
Yes,
I guess.
we can.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for this day. A lot already said today, and I think I will try to focus a bit this presentation on how the master is maybe slightly different from other master we've seen today. I think we share a lot, a common, let's say, interest in teaching the new change makers in architecture, in construction, in urbanism, in design. In the Master in Robotics and Advanced Construction, we really focus on the construction part. So how we go from design to actually build building, and how all those technologies that we've been discussing and seeing could have an impact. No? We believe, I think you've seen it already through the different project, the previous master, we believe technology could answer some of the questions, or let's say challenge architecture and construction is facing. We believe technology could make buildings that are customized to each location, to each needs, to each climate, each culture, something that was not possible in the previous mass production. We do believe they can also introduce new materials that are a bit more sustainable, that could be a bit more less impacting for the planet. And we hope we can also match the main focus of construction today, that is economy. So we are actually a productive and economic production that could make building much more affordable. To answer this, we've been for more than 10 years looking at how we could connect better with the machine, the design, and the material to offer solutions that are holistic, but also that can adapt to each of these locations. No, so far technology have to be normally quite expensive to develop and to install onto a position. We believe in the technologies that adapt to each specific case, each buildings, each material flow and needs. And what we've been teaching in this master and in collaboration with all our industry partners and also research colleagues, we discovered that these tools as an enabler, some kind of element that will help us humans in the place to actually change things and make it better. The way we teach in this program have been to slowly introduce all our students towards those technologies in 3 big steps, or 4, let's say. One being directly how I can make something. So directly go into the machine, learn as much as possible to materialize your ideas that you have in the digital design environment. Then we try to sense, so how we can detect and capture all this information that is in the physical environment, that is a building, that is a fabrication process, that the material, how we can bring this back into the computer, treat it, and then influence our design and change the way we do it, and then interact, because we don't believe in a future where the robots will replace us, but they will collaborate with us. So we do believe in construction sites and factories where the human and the machine collaborates. And it's a whole challenge in itself that is actually passionating, especially when we work with those craft people that are so interesting. You can find actually a lot of the academic structure and all the detail in the booklet. I will let you go a bit in detail. I would like to focus a bit on this presentation on showing more some image of the content and element that have been done by our students when they work with making their own machine, trying to do different sensors, or trying to have like this kind of interaction, working on hardware, so developing their own tools, they fabricate their own machine and make them adapted to what they need. We have softwares that are also making our digital world much more comfortable to develop new solutions. You learn by first design to fabrication or design for manufacturing. That is really like how we transform all those crazy ideas and architecture into an efficient process of fabrication, but also how you can dig into the machine and understand how you code for the robot, and we help you to dig into this world. And evidently, as you heard, AI and machine learning is changing the way we think. It helps us a lot to interact with those machines and make them understand our physical world. The way it works in the program is a lot of workshops. We love to have this 1 week dedicated energy into making something. We invite special guests from outside, generally from industry or from research, that show us the state of the art, and they practice hands-on with us, with the students, to make actually demo and make it happen. So you learn a lot from actually doing with them. That's the main drivers. The goal is always to have each year closing the studio, your research with a mock-up of a 1-to-1 scale that you will fabricate in IAAC and envision a type of architecture that will go with this. That could become either a startup, that could be an architectural project, or it could become also research. So that would be the direction. The second year, as you heard, we have this kind of thesis clusters that happen in the second year for most of the master. In MRAC, we do as well. We have organized the class in such a way that you can actually make a part-time in industry and a part-time working on your thesis. So the structure is a bit peculiar on this aspect because we have the chance to have many industry, many architectural office, many places that ask talent like the one that are at IAAC and that would like to be into these elements. No, so we can connect with many companies. I would like to just mention some of them with who we already collaborated in the past, and hopefully there will be more by the time you go in IAAC. So the master was created initially in collaboration with Aldo Solazzo that leads 3 different startups. One of it is focusing on 3D printing at very large scale, and it's based on Barcelona. And we have a lot of students that are in between IAAC and La Máquina, where they are producing architecture today with robots. And it's very interesting to be part of this environment. Awar in London is producing modular construction made of wood boxes, and also here interesting development happening on how this changed totally the way we think about architecture and how we actually install them in an affordable way. The Hadid architects have been also pioneering in what can we do with technology, what kind of geometry, but also how we can fabricate. They just bought 2 new robots inside the office, and actually an alumni of IAAC is currently the one leading the robotic lab inside the office. We also collaborated with them to install a robotic cell in Honduras, where they want to build an entire project with robots made of wood locally. So there's a bit of a change happening in the way we construct and construct buildings. Our dear partner at WASP in Italy are 3D printing entire building with Earth, as we do as well in the 3D program. And we have often students in between our 2 facilities so that they can actually learn a lot on the site and hopefully build beautiful buildings in Italy. More locally here, we have EURECAT, that is the biggest research center of Catalonia that make also kind of impressive architecture, but also develop amazing process into robotics, sensing, drones, rovers, sometimes related to architecture, sometimes not. Our program is actually multidisciplinary, where we have designer, but also roboticists, engineers, and sometimes we deviate a bit out of the main focus of construction because robotics can be applied to so many fields. Nazca.ai was a fantastic startup about scanning buildings and trying to understand how they are actually aligned with what is planned. So when you construct, you know, you're not always aligned with the building. So you need to detect this difference between the two. So it was not really building, there was helping builders with technology and data. And finally, a dear partner here locally, we have more, but this is just a short representation. Ceramica Cumeia is one of these fantastic crafts that have been working with all those architects to imagine new type of materials and new type of processes to be able to create a beautiful architecture, one that is also sustainable and make of natural material. And he's the one that have been calling us, hey, we need to see together how we can put the robot at the center of our design process, our construction process, to imagine new type of building. It's a 10-year now collaboration, and often our students are either working with them in workshop or going into an internship later. So that gives you a bit of an overview of what is the Master in Robotic and Construction. I'm very happy to answer any more questions if you want to join us in the breakout room.
Thank you so much, Alex. That was a great overview of the program, and nice to see how our students are collaborating within the industry. Super quick here. The next program that is going to be presented is the postgraduate degree in 3D printing architecture. It is directed by Edouard Cabay and Alex Dubois, who also co-directs the MRAC program, and it's also coordinated by Valeria Carrion. So Edouard is going to be doing the presentation about this postgraduate.
Great. Thank you very much, Violetta. Let me share my screen. Yes, we're on?
Yes, perfect.
Okay, great. That's what happens when you get a brand new screen and your image gets duplicated and you get lost within it. Sorry about this.
No problem.
So yes,
please go ahead and go started.
I'm following up with Alex. Yeah, who co-directs the program with me, who has just presented MRAC in a very nice manner. 3DPA is a program that is, let's say, a bit particular because it's the shortest program that we have in the institute, which is a 6-month program. I think that's very important. It's a program of 45 credits. It starts early September and it finishes at the end of February. And it's a program in which we work with an entire group. We have between 15 and 20 students approximately every year. And we work on a single theme, which is the theme of 3D printing with Earth. So let's start by watching a short video. So in this video, you've seen the work of 3DPA combined together with the work of WASP, who is our industrial partner in the project. WASP, company in Italy that develops 3D printers, but also 3D printing solutions for architecture that is made from soil. So this is a program in which that we have been developing at IAAC for the past 9 years or 10 years at the moment, which is focused on the question of additive manufacturing. So working with robotics, working with new, let's say, computational design methodologies, in order to print with soil and to kind of move towards an architecture that be considered to be very sustainable, in the sense that it uses local material, but also material that doesn't need embedded energy, that is locally sourced, and that is non-contaminant. It's a course that is in which we kind of spend a lot of time to learn the technology. We also learn to design, and we go through this in order to learn how to design through the taking on some one-to-one construction experiments, right? And this is something that we do together with our industrial partners. The course is structured into 3 phases that approximately take the same amount of time, a couple of months each. The first phase is a phase where we learn. It's dedicated to a series of very fast workshops where basically our faculty passes a lot of knowledge to the students. After that, we go to an exploration phase where we study research questions. I will explain about this a bit more in a second. And then eventually a third phase where we try to demonstrate. We go and develop architectural project, but we also go into the construction of a prototype. So the first phase, that is called Techne, is a phase in which we basically do 6 consecutive workshops. And we look at topics such as computational design, structural analysis. We look at the question of environmental performance. We also look at how we look at the material studied, understand how to construct with it, and also, of course, the question of the technology. So this format is actually, there are 6 very intense workshops that actually prepare us afterwards to be able, for each of the students or each of the group of students, to then kind of select or articulate a research question. In other words, try to understand what are the aspects of this technology and this material that need to be developed in order to make it in order to bring it a step closer to the market. So in research, we look, for example, at how to reinforce the material or how to develop forms that are geometries that are structural, or, for example, to work with also environmental factors. At the moment, our students are working with trying to develop self-shading strategies for walls or ventilation strategies to modify the inside of a wall or the inside of a space. The methodology is partially scientific, partially, of course, creative, where we work very carefully with evaluating our design process to be able to carefully give answers or conclusions to this research question we have been setting up. In parallel to the research, we also run a matter research where for the space of 2 months, the time of 2 months, we also try to improve the material mix that we have developed the year before. So we work with earth from the natural park of the Colsorana, where we then build a prototype. We mix it with different types of components and study test the resistance of the material, and then eventually make a selection. After that, rich of all of this knowledge, we jump into a part of the program that is called Vision, where we develop an architectural project. We try to understand the possibilities of 3D printing in order to kind of develop a new architecture. And we try always very strongly to relate this to the social attributes of what an architectural project needs to contain. In parallel to developing this project, we also go into the construction phase, where there we study the logistic of how a construction for 3D printing should happen. So we source the material, we prepare the material, but at the same time, we develop the code and actually run the robot in order to get these small proposals to go up, these small prototypes to go up. This is our forest campus. So this is where every year we kind of add on to this prototyping. And here you can see this earth wall with these wooden structures. These are the work of the past 3 or 4 years that have gotten to the program a series of awards, such as the European Bauhaus, or also the Arc Daily Building of the Year a couple of years ago. So even though Alex and I are here, we are many more people in the program, internal faculties, external faculties. We work with material experts, computational experts, construction experts, but also then with a team of engineers, structural engineers, climate engineers from Socotec, for example, in Spain here, and others. So in 3DPA, we work a lot with architects, but we are very open to have also students coming from different disciplines. And afterwards, we have to say that one of the statistics we're very proud of is normally, since we finish in February, and the graduation is normally in June, by June, normally all of our students have already found a job opportunity and are already working. So it actually can lead to a number of to a variety of different possibilities. We have students alumni occupying very interesting academic positions throughout the world, such as in Hong Kong or also in Germany. Also students that have ex-students that have set up their startup, others that work in architectural office or that have set up also their architectural office. Yeah? Okay, that was my last slide. Thank you very much, Violeta.
No problem. Thank you so much for sharing. And again, guys, the breakout room will open after a few more presentations that we have, so you can go in and ask your questions about this program specifically. Now I'm just going to quickly introduce the next master's, which is the Master's in Design for Emergent Futures. It is co-directed by Guillem Camprodon and Saúl Baeza Arguello, and it's coordinated by Chiara Dall'Olio. Guillem is going to be presenting the program. Guillem, you want to go ahead?
Lovely. You see my screen?
Yes, we can see it now. Fantastic. Guillem, please take it away. As always, you have the 8 minutes.
So, given the state of the world in 2024, you might find yourself asking if we should continue to design, if there is still room for design in a time of mounting crisis, for climate change, for technological disruption, for democratic issues. And our answer is a resounding yes. Design remains not just relevant, but essential, propositional, and transformative. And that is why 7 years ago, we launched the Master in Design for Emerging Futures, a collaboration between FabLab Barcelona and IAAC and ISABA. And this program at the end was born to reimagine what design can achieve in addressing complex systemic challenges. So welcome. I am Guillem Camprodon. I'm the Executive Director of FabLab Barcelona and co-director of the program. And together with co-director Saúl Baeza from ISABA and Chiara Dall'Olio, program coordinator, we guide this program to the cutting edge of what design can do. So welcome to the Master in Design for Emerging Futures. Let me guide you a bit more in how we understand design and what do we do in this program. So this is not a program about futurity. It's not a program about speculative design. It's a program on embodying alternative presence. And you'll learn more about today. It's also a program that's not for people who think that design is only about designing objects as a static, tangible, sized objects. This is also a program for people who think that design is about engaging in ecosystemic relations, where objects could be from systems to algorithms to physical things, of course. And this is also a program for people who they think that we shouldn't only design for humans, and actually that designing for humans had caused a lot of issues during the last years, that we should actually design for the planet, and so that we should embrace the complexity of designing also for other species. And that also goes into understanding that we are not individuals designing, that we contain at the end human and non-human multitudes within us. So understanding that we live in a complex ecosystem where there's multiple species relating ones with the others. And not only that, but also that we are not in a competitive race for solutions, that we are in a collective quest for meaning. And that's why in this program, we very much focus in working together. We are very strict in putting together every year for the last 7 years, a group that performs as a collective, that performs not as individuals seeking to get a mark, but by people willing to make sense of a specific time, but making a meaningful work. And that also connects that we don't judge what people should do or should not do. We don't think that's a role of design. We think that the role of design and the role of us as designers is to try it ourselves, is to experience things in first-person perspective and becoming a source of inspiration and infrastructure for others. And finally, we don't do this to hand in a master project. We do this to open new life paths and folding hybrid profiles. So we want you to stop wondering if you should be a designer or not, if you should, choose between your hobby and your design profession, or your background in economics or your background in architecture. We want you at the end to become a unique individual with its own hybrid profile that helps you to open new life path. So at the end, if you like to prototyping, alternative presence, that's a program for you. That's a Master in Design for Emergent Futures. How we build that program, or where this comes from? Well, it comes from being a Fab Lab and learning over more than 15 years how we could take very large challenges that we all care, such as climate change, and not just design for them at this planetary scale, because we think it's impossible to do that. You will always fail. But to do that at the scale of the person, the scale of a product or intervention, that we could start very small and then step by step scale up. So let me show you how we do this in the program. So we start by framing design interventions by using methodologies that we have developed here for the last year, such as the Atlas of Weak Signals. We then, these helps us go from this kind of very big planetary topics that you care, that we all care, and bringing them to the specific interest and to a specific scope of work that you could operate. And that is what actually in the second term, we start to embody these emergent contexts using a methodology we call first-person perspective design, and by engaging with local communities, either in the city of Barcelona, but as well as globally through digital communities. And it's from that point that we start to do these very localized interventions that in the third term, we actually work to turn them into emerging features. So we turn these prototypes that try to speculate new ways of living in the present into actionable strategies and ideas for the future. And that is actually where in the third term, we succeed to scale the things into the scale of the city, and sometimes even in the scale of the region or even the planet. To support you actually on this scalability phase, we develop a second year of the program that works a bit more like an incubation phase, taking these resulting projects, taking these new hybrid profiles that you have developed, and just making them large and making them at the scale of a project that's tangible, that can impact you, and that defines you, not just because who you are, but because of the projects that you do. The areas of expertise are very grounded into the work of IAAC, Elisava, and especially Fab Lab Barcelona, which have been doing research and innovation projects in multiple fields for the last 10 years that you could research more in the fablabcn.org website. And the program itself is structured into 4 tracks: exploration, instrumentation, application, and reflection, and in 3 modes. 3 modes means that we have activities which are more like workshops. We believe a lot in the idea of workshops, very specifically on time, but we also believe in seminars that happen continuously over all the terms, and as well as with the reviews, individual, collective, with people from the Elisava, Fab Lab, IAAC, but as well with reviews from experts and mentors that we bring from the outside and help us also to enhance our vision into the problems that we are looking for that. We also organize yearly research trip. Last year, we were in the Pyrenees, designing at 2,000 meters, let's say, above the sea level. And we also organize a festival every year as a way to bring into the wall all the work that we did in the MDEF 1 and the MDEF 2 programs, all together in multiple locations of the city. In detail, the program, and you have all this information later on, but here it is very briefly, MDEF 1, MDEF 1 and 2, starting very soon. And finally, and I just want to be very quick, we'll discuss this more in the separate rooms. If you are interested more in the details, the syllabus of all the seminars, the schedule, bibliographies, day-to-day basis, we have this site called mdev.fablabcn.org, which is a bit of our internal repository, but we made it also publicly available for all of you to check. So thank you very much, and talk later in the separate rooms. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Guillem, for a wonderful presentation. We're going to continue the presentation of our, here we go. Of our design line with the two postgraduates in design, let's say, that we have. The first one is the postgraduate in textiles and technology, also known as Fabrication Barcelona. This program is directed by Santiago Fuentemilla and Petra Garajova. Santiago is going to be doing the presentation for this postgraduate degree and also the postgraduate in Fab Academy.
Yeah, thank you, Violeta. Okay, let me
Thank you.
share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, as I will present two of the programs, of the next two programs, and I will be the last one, so I promise I will be kind of fast. So I will not take all of the 8 minutes for each of the programs. Today I'm here actually representing a group of people in the Fab Lab Barcelona and IAAC that are running, let's say, both programs, but I will try to explain a little bit how these two programs are connected before to start in detail in each of them. So I'm director of both programs together with Daniel Mateos and Petra Garajova, and also with the help of the coordination of Luciana Asignari. Fab Academy and Fabricademy are two postgraduate programs that are basically running for 6 months in an intensive way. They basically, one of them starts from September to, or goes from September to March, and another one from January to June. So they overlap for 3 months, let's say. And the particularity about these programs are that programs that are inside something a little bit bigger. So we call it distributed educational models because the programs are shared together with other nodes in the networks of Fab Labs. So nowadays we are around 2,500 Fab Labs around the world that we share projects, knowledge, experiences, but also some educational programs. So these two programs are 2 of them among other ones. This is the first concept that they share. So being part of the same community in the same global network, but also they are contextualized and they are applied, let's say, the knowledge in a different context. So what you are seeing here, it's some of the Fab Labs around the world in the sharing, let's say, virtual spaces for basically sharing, let's say, how is going on in the different programs over the weeks. And here you can see in some of our cohorts or some of our students in previous years and how they are basically landing, let's say, all of this knowledge into the context spaces. So students in different, let's say, nodes, they are able to apply, let's say, these different technologies and different knowledge in a different ways. They are also sharing some learning principles. So both of these programs, among the other ones, they are based learning principles. They are using the same learning principles. Distributed knowledge is one of them. So this idea of being able to basically be in contact with global leaders with some expertise that are able, let's say, to share, let's say, they knowledge, but also learning from peers of the same context, and also learning from institutions that are connected to the local networks. The idea of openness in the learnings, it's really important, because not just the materials being used that are shared with other ones, also these programs are designed to be as much accessible as they can. So they are programs that they don't need, let's say, a previous background. So everybody can feel comfortable joining, let's say, these programs and learning through the experience and the prototyping idea as a learning methodology. So they are really intense, they are really hands-on, and they are hybrid, and they are designed to fail. So we expect students to prototype for failing in a way that is the best way for them to learn, let's say, and iterate through this failing. Why to do it in Barcelona? So Guillem mentioned it before. So over more than 15 years, we have been, let's say, one of the leaders, let's say, in the Fab Lab ecosystem, at least in Europe and around the world. So we had the opportunity to expand the concept of making in different areas, not just the more close to the design, also, let's say, how this impacts into the productive cities, how we can create, let's say, new materials, how this allows us to, for example, design new methodologies for learning, or how can we imagine, let's say, the impact of these networks, let's say, beyond, let's say, the production phases. So being part of these programs in Fab Barcelona and IAAC allows also to be in context or in contact, let's say, with these other, let's say, areas of knowledge, a part of being in a bigger like ecosystem, learning ecosystem with other, let's say, masters, as we was discussing. So now I will just summarize a little bit some of the more in-depth details of the two programs. So Fabric-Academy, we call it, let's say, Textile and Technology Academy. It's focused basically in the intersection between digital fabrication, biology, and textiles. And basically, this is kind of like the goal, let's say, or the approach of how do we envision students to basically put in contact, let's say, the knowledge. So they will explore in the first part of the program, so through the distributed, let's say, resources in a way. So they will start, let's say, connecting, let's say, this knowledge with local industry and also local context in order to design innovative solutions to be applied, let's say, further on in the textile industry. Okay. The program is divided in two parts. So these 6 months are divided in basically two parts of 3. So the first one is divided in small capsules for them to instructional capsules for them to test, let's say, and feel comfortable in the different processes and technologies. And the second one is more project oriented. So they will apply this previous knowledge in a specific research project that they will do. So these are some of the content that they will be able to be in contact in the first phase. So that goes, as I was mentioning, so between these 3 areas of knowledge, digital fabrication, biology, and textile. So they have to learn and feel comfortable with these areas for later on design, let's say, how they can basically do let's say, proposal and innovative solutions in that context. These are some of the last year examples that I will not enter in detail, but we can enter, let's say, in the breakout rooms later this presentation. So there's a video here, but maybe I will skip it and we can go, let's say, a little bit more in deep after the presentation. And then Fab Academy is, again, 6-month intensive hands-on digital fabrication process. In here, the idea is that the students will learn, let's say, all techniques and processes for being autonomous and autosufficient, let's say, in the digital fabrication space and in the prototyping phases. So there's this claim about prototyping almost anything. That is basically, this is kind of skills that the student will learn, let's say, during the program. The idea also is to focus on what we call fab literacy. That is not just the technical skills, also these soft skills, mindsets, or knowledge that they are needed for solving, let's say, problems or have a critical point of view of the technology. So these are some of the last alumni projects, and what I like it from both programs, but especially in the FAB Academy, is that everybody can adapt, let's say, the knowledge in the kind of field that they are interested. And here you can see the variety of different, let's say, final projects and how they are applied. So in terms of phases or what kind of content there's going to be exposed and they will learn. So the idea is to learn about different tools of digital fabrication that are in the Fab Labs and the prototyping and fabrication spaces. So go a little bit in the fabrication and production processes, okay? Discover some protocols for interactivity and communication, and then see how these can impact and they can basically scale, let's say, as a product. So in both programs, but also in Fab Academy, students, they will have to develop their own, let's say, portfolio through, let's say, the different, let's say, weekly experience. And this is also the base of the, let's say, previous or the further years knowledge that the further students, they will use it, let's say, for learning. So this is a video of one final project. I don't know if you can see you can listen the sound, but at least you can read. And I really like it because this student developed, let's say, through the experience of interacting with digital fabrication tools and technology, he had a critical point of view of how these tools can be, let's say, implemented as a prototyping phase for learning. And this is how, at the end, final project, let's say, expressed. So he built the whole machine that you are seeing, also the interaction between the different, let's say, environments. And this is a nice example of how can you use these tools for the critical thinking. So for Fab Academy specifically, so still we are accepting applicants. So starts in January 22. So if you are interested, please apply now or talk, or we can talk on the breakout room. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Santi, for the wonderful presentation. So yes, the Fab Academy, the postgraduate in digital fabrication, is the first, let's say, quote unquote, program that starts in 2025. It starts in January. So if you're interested in this program in particular, we encourage that you submit your application now. There's a few spots left. With this, we are done with the presentation about IAAC and all of the programs. Thank you again for your time and your attention. We really appreciate that you're here and that you show your interest about the programs. Right now, you can see our main email address for application questions, which is applications@iac.net. Please feel free to write us an email if you have any questions about the application process. We will be happy to take them. But if we're done now, Christian, Dalva, Daniel, Matias, thank you so much. Christian, do you have a question?
Yes, I had a quick question. I came in a bit later through the whole thing, but I was wondering, Athene was telling me about the different application phases. I was wondering what the deadlines were looking like. I know it's rolling, but when do dates open up?
Good question. Give me just a minute. I'm gonna unmute
okay.
Another computer that I'm in. You're muted? Oh, okay, because I hear an echo. The first, it is a rolling application system, but we have it broken down into periods. So the first period is going to close in January 18th. However, if you're interested, for example, in applying to certain scholarships, you can apply by the second application period, which will close in April. Another important, so we really, with a rolling application system, we don't put like a set deadline that you have to apply by. But since we open and we receive applications on a first come, first serve basis, that's when we say you have to apply as early as possible. But if you want to have kind of like a guideline of when you should apply by, the first application period, it's January 18th, as I mentioned, but then the second application period closes in April. So I think that one could also be a good deadline for you because there's some scholarships happening at that time. If something else to have in mind when you're deciding by when to apply is if you are going to come from another country, it's not from the European Union, you have to process a student visa to come to Spain. So it's better to do it in a timeline that gives you plenty of time to secure your visa. So I would say the April deadline would be probably the best one for you. And let me confirm with you the exact date with you for that. So you can have kind of like, you know, an idea. Oh, just a second. What happened here? So it's coming up here. So. Loading. So first application period closes on January 18th, and then the second one closes on the 30th of March. Sorry, not April, but March. And that's usually the time where we get the most applications, but it's because it's also the most optimal time for you to get enough time to process your visa. And also if you're applying to other like external funding or scholarships, that's usually when that happens. So this could be a good reference for you. However, if your application is ready to go as soon as possible, we also, you know, the applications that we are receiving now, if they are good profiles for the school and we are accepting students, we are issuing acceptances now. So there's people that are already being offered a spot in the program. And you're interested in the MAEBB program, correct? In the Masters in Advanced Ecological Buildings and Biocities?
Yes.
So it's also important an early application because this program, as you know, is a living kind of like community and space. And there's limited housing for up to 25 students. So the places are also limited in that sense.
That's helpful. Thank you.
You're very welcome. So again, our email is up in the screen. If you have any questions, write us an email. I can also take a video call. We do make video calls with interested leads for like 30 minutes to go over like more specific questions that you might have about the program. So if you write me an email, I'll send you the calendar invitation so you can choose a time that works best for you.
Perfect. And your email would be the applications at? Yeah. Okay, perfect.
That's my email. Perfect. Do you have any other questions?
No, that's all for now. Thank you so much.
Great. Where are you connecting from?
I'm connecting from Washington, D.C. in the United States.
Great. Then happy Thanksgiving to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Enjoy your day. Perfect. So I think I'm going to go ahead. If there's no more questions, go ahead and close the room. Thank you again for your time. Christian and Matthias, whoever's left, thank you so much. And I look forward to connecting with you guys again.
Bye.
Bye.